This is Good Morning Mumbai with Hrishi K.
Hello, it's Jalebi time. Rhea Chakraborty is back for the attack. How are you doing, beautiful?
I'm good. How are you? Nice to see you.
Good, always good to see you. And Varun Mitra, welcome to the show for the very first time, buddy.
Hello, thank you.
Well, I'm given to understand this is not your debut. I mean, everybody sees you in all these commercials, that's fine. But you've actually done a movie.
Yes.
And it's seen the festival circuit, but you haven't seen a mainstream release. Why is that so? Would you just tell us about that project?
So Kash was basically for the festivals. We had our premiere at the Tokyo Festival, and I hadn't done a big Bollywood commercial film till now. I was also waiting to pick the one that puts me out there, and I think the movie was also waiting to pick me. So now it finally happened, and it happened on a sweet note with Jalebi.
Yeah, and most importantly, with Rhea as your co-star.
Yes. She is the Jalebi.
She is the Jalebi. No, but you had heavyweights as producers because Meera produced the film, Meera Nair, and Irfan was also part of the producers, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
They were both creative.
So it must have been fun
producers.
filming it. I mean,
Of course
doing
it was.
yeah?
It's a different zone of a film. Like it's like the how do I say it's a more of a mood film. This is more out there sort of situation. So that's the difference. But yeah, it was a great experience shooting that, and in a way that kind of like warmed me up.
Yeah, it set you
for
up
the
for
big
it. Yeah.
like
It was like a nice a practice rehearsal
Of
for
course.
the big one to come by.
great learning.
So did you have to hold him through it, or was he already a veteran of many commercials, and you didn't have to do that, Rhea? As far as Varun is concerned. Yeah.
I mean, as far as his acting is concerned, he was spot on, and like he was absolutely shockingly not first film at all. Like, in fact, when I recently saw the film and we had a trial for the technicians and all of us, I was looking at him and he was sitting next to me, and I was like, bro, is that you? Is this your first film? Like, he looked really confident. He looks like someone who's been there, done that before. But of course, like the other mental, physical and emotional stresses that you go through on a film that's so intense, we both had to kind of help each other through that.
But you're just so easy and appealing to watch on cinema. Whenever Sonali Cable or Mere Dad Ki Maruti plays and the cable guy plays it or is playing on television, I could just keep watching you.
I keep blushing from here. Thank you.
It's just so easy on the eye. Your performance is so natural, and it's great. So, in the tradition of Mr. Devanand and Amir Khan and Fana, you play a guide.
Yes, I do play a guide.
And thankfully, a modern day guide. You know,
Yes.
because the guides of the June Zamane ke guides used to be very affected and over the top. And so, what kind of a guide is he?
So he's a guy. I'll talk about Dev.
Yeah,
like
Dev.
he's
called Dev also.
he's called Dev.
Was it pure coincidence?
It was. I think you'll have to ask Kausi
What
Munir
rubbish.
that.
I think Kausar just thought of it precisely for the reason that Devanand did guide, the legendary Dev sir. Anyway, continue.
So he's a guy who's born and brought up in Old Delhi. So he's got the colors of Old Delhi and the flavors of Old Delhi, and he's a really energetic guy, and he's a little poetic kind of. He's got a dramatic side to him also. He's excited about life, and he's a really content sort of person. He's always happy. So that's Dave, and he really loves where he's grown up, and he wants to show that place to the world.
Which is Old Delhi, Delhi 6.
Yes, which is Old Delhi. Yes, Purani Delhi.
Okay. And you are not from Delhi.
No, I'm playing a Bombay girl
Nice.
who is a writer. Aisha is my character's name, and I go to Bombay to see Purani Delhi, and there is this guide who's taking us out on this beautiful tour, and I fall in love with Purani Delhi and the guy, of course, and then I decide to just marry him.
This is
the point.
thumbs up for women's power. And why should the guy always be the one to ask? Why should the guy always go down on his knees? It's an equal world. Like they say, feminism is about being equal.
Absolutely.
You ask him to marry you. Yeah, in a
Of
very
course.
cool manner.
Yeah, it's like very nonchalant, man. Like,
She
yeah, I wanted
tells
to-
me to marry her.
Yeah, like, hey man, I want to marry you. Like, you want to marry
You
me?
inform
like,
him.
It's just like, let's get married. Like, obviously, you're not going to say no, right?
Correct.
Entitlement.
It's
You got to keep a bit of that, no?
correct. But as a Fauji kid, did you ever grow up? Did you ever grow up in Delhi? I mean, a few of your years, you guys keep moving. Yeah.
Delhi is a very important base, but unfortunately my dad didn't get posted there. But in and around Delhi a lot, so Delhi was a mid base for like 2-3 months in between schools and this and that, because we have all this crazy stuff as Fauji kids, right? But I've lived nearby, like I've lived in Agra, I've lived in Ambala, I've lived in that area, but not Delhi.
Yeah, so you're really familiar with the Purani Delhi vibe, you know?
Yeah.
This is what we're talking, Chandni Chowk and
Yes, Kinari Bazaar.
Kinari Bazaar and things like
Kareem's.
that.
Parathe wali
Yes,
Delhi.
yes.
Which Manoj Bajpayee was telling me is not all as glamorous as the way Hindi cinema puts it. You know, because in the night it becomes a very scary place. You didn't film much in the night, did you?
No, actually, but we were in secluded areas when it was night.
It's not glamorous. I think it's just a beautiful mess. Yeah.
Yeah, but they
That's
have
nicely put.
this order. Yeah, in their chaos they have an order. Like they know, like there's a system to the madness. It's interesting though. Like
Just going in the cycle rickshaw in those lanes is also an experience for someone who hasn't been there.
So are you guys both bongs? I mean, I know Ria's bong. Are you bong?
No, I'm Punjabi.
So there are Mitra Punjabis?
Apparently.
And
Wow.
there was this confusion when even before I met him, I was like, he's also Bengali because there are a lot of Bengalis that are
Mitras are usually Bengalis.
Yeah, Mitras are usually Bengalis. And there's no Bengali blood anywhere.
No.
Wow. Thank God you didn't break out into bong the first time you met him.
There are enough Bengalis at Vishesh Film Office.
I believe so. The writers also bongs.
Yes. So we're just like, no. Now no. Enough.
This is crazy. So there are two ballads which are out, and you know it, like in the 90s they always said that if you had Sonu Nigam on a soundtrack, you've got a winner. In this day and age, if you have Arijit on a soundtrack, you have a winner, and on top of Arijit, if you have Jubin Nautiyal, you have a double winner. And these are all like love-soaked ballads, both Tumse as well as Pal, and so beautifully picturized. So Vishesh Films gets it right again, yeah. So talk to me about the songs.
So, I think the thing is that why everybody connects to their music is because I think the songs are emotionally stitched to the script. You know, so that's why, and the lyrics and everything, they're like really emotionally stitched to it, which is why when the visuals come in, you connect even more to what is going on. For me.
So you're saying it just doesn't break away and become a separate entity as a song, as part of the
Yeah.
story, yeah?
Yeah.
So what do you special about Pal? What do you special about Tumse?
So Pal for me was my first lip sync song. So it was special for me because of that. And Tumse, I think, is just, it's the spirit of the characters, it's the spirit of the film. So we connect with it, and we even during rehearsals and during scenes, we would play that song to get into the mood of the scene. So I think that's why Tumse is just like on loop.
For you?
I think that the music has just been a great help. Like while filming, it sets the tone because otherwise everyone can kind of be on a different rhythm. But if the music of the film is so apt to the situations and what's happening with the characters, then as actors, the music is what binds you. And because like music has no language, it does kind of make everyone part of that song, and then everyone just feels the same way. So the energy on set would change when say a Pal would play, and then when a Tumse would play. Like the entire set would be happy and mushy when Pal would be playing and when we'd be filming it, and that entire section of the film. And when we would be playing Tumse, we were in the train sketch, which was far more intense, and there was Aisha and Dev, which is my character, and Varun's bumping into each other after 7 years, unrequited love, pain, this, that. The entire set would be also very
You do
like,
pain
quiet.
very well. In the trailer and otherwise, you do pain very, very
See,
well.
every actor knows pain very well. And if you've had a couple of films that have not hit it at the box office, you know pain too damn well.
Absolutely.
Never need listening.
But listen, I'm so incredibly proud of the way you've handled all these people who've been talking shit. And very honestly, I wish there are moments when I come to very close to using expletives, but I will not use it. Well done. You know, you've maintained your calm, your grace about this whole thing about Bhatt Saab and yourself and things like that.
I mean, Bhatt Saab really...
Well handled. I have to tell you that first. You know,
Like-
you kept your cool through it.
Thank you.
I'm sure you went through your share of anguish. Tell me about it.
So honestly, like it was my mentor's birthday, like, and there's this image that Pooja had taken of us, and one that Shrita, who's also a writer on a film, additional screenplay she's done, had taken it in a time of a very intense scene where he's helping me through it, and he's like a father figure to me, and I don't
For
want to
heaven's
even
sake, he's
say.
75.
And I'm saying I don't even. Why do I have to say that? Why do I have to say that? Why is it not obvious? And just because a man and a woman are sitting close to each other and they have love in the picture, These people are gross, man. And I was actually upset. I went to office. I was a bit quiet and calmer than my usual self on that next morning. And then Bhatt Saab looked at me and says, "Are you going to sit down, or have you learned anything from your character in this film?" And I was like, "Oh, I have." And then he's like, "So come on, tell them it's not okay." So I put the other post, and he did give me the first 2 lines. I was like, "Tell me what else to write," and it felt good actually. And I think women need to stand up and make your point, but beyond a point, you can't chase these people because they are.
I think beyond a point, you just have to stop reading the replies.
Yes.
You put stuff out there.
You just hit the nail in the coffin, because then you put the response and then you're tempted to read that, and then again they're trolling you for something else. So that's exactly what Bhatt Saab even said. In fact, he's like, "Now you've said your point, you've made your point, don't sit and go into it." He's like, "It's quicksand. This can be never ending."
Having said that, what a remarkable man. I mean, I've had conversations with him about J. Krishnamurti's books, and I've had conversations with him about emotions and practicality.
What a guy.
There's a lot to learn in there, right?
Yeah.
He walks into a room and you're immediately like, there's something about
There's
that
an
aura, isn't it?
electricity that he brings with him.
And for you, that must have been particularly of interest, because this was like your first big motion picture. Lots to feed off. And I saw a very interesting tweet or a post which said, before a shot he came and whispered something in your ear. What was that? Was that a direction?
So the thing with Bhatt Saab is that, and we got to know this very early on, is that he really sees you. Like, you might be looking at me and my nose and my eyes, but Bhatt Saab will see through all of that. He sees your heart, he sees your mind, and then he uses that before a shot to come and say something to you, which kind of just changes the perception that you have of the scene or the way that you're going to approach it. He just, I'll give you like a example which you might not understand, but he said before one scene, he said that I want you to approach this like a schoolboy. There were some experiences that I shared with him from my childhood, and he told me to tap into that. And he doesn't directly say it. He just says it just a few words which just come out, and it's more than the words. I think it's about the silences that we share with him. And I think all 3 of us are on the same page as far as that exchange is concerned.
The trailer does tell me that the relationship goes south after marriage. And is that because of the family, or is that giving too much away? What happens?
No, honestly, these are just 2 very different people. And sometimes you can't fit into each other's worlds, or one person can't fit into the others. And I guess that's okay. But does that mean that you're going to stop being and chasing what you are and who you think you want to be? Or does that mean that you should let that go? That's the turmoil that my character in the film, Aisha, is going through. And I think that's a turmoil that we all always have. Like, I face the same problems, even though I'm in a relationship with a very open-minded person in today's time. I always feel like, somewhere in a relationship, as a woman, there are a lot of things that they may not be said directly in an MCP fashion, but it's felt like that. That still exists somewhere in our society. It's in the DNA of Indian males, unfortunately.
And sometimes you could say something very innocently about a crap internet connection, like it is in the trailer, and it could just be blown out of proportion, isn't it? Does that happen also in close relationships?
Yeah, man. I think that, and that is the one thing that happens in close relationships, because you read so much and you know exactly what the other person is thinking, the subtext, what they're saying, why they're saying it. You subconsciously know where they're hitting at, and they know where to hit. So that, and is it okay to be hurt by someone you love, and how much of that hurt is okay, and how much of that hurt is not okay? So I think it's a confusion and dilemma that everyone goes through, and which is why this film was so appealing to me in the first place, because it said something to me which kind of felt like an answer, and my definition of love has changed since I've been part of this film.
Wow, that's deep.
That is huge. That also means that I'll possibly be single for the rest of my life, because now I expect more than before also.
You are too beautiful to be single for very long, my dear. Unless you choose to be very yourself. You know what I mean? Like, you turn around and say, I don't want to do this.
But there are no men.
You want to argue with that?
Can't argue with her, bro.
Cannot
argue. That's one thing I've learned through the film. Don't argue with her. Never win.
No, not going to ask you. See, the trailer does its job of really making me curious to know whether you want to get remarried or not. So I'm not going to ask you that vital question, because you probably won't answer it. But
Yeah, I can't. I'll be shocked.
tell me what your co-star does. Who's the other lady in it?
Digangana.
Digangana, yeah. So what does Digangana do? What is her character? I mean, she's not represented in this interview.
I don't think
Wow.
I'm allowed to talk about that too much. We'll give away.
It's a
So,
surprise.
You'll have
It's
to
a
go
sur-
on the 12th of October.
Well,
to
then
watch
you
it.
have to tell me about Digangana then. So one of you will have to tell me about her, even if you don't tell me about her character.
Personally?
Well, she's done a lot of television, hasn't
Yes.
she?
Yes. Yes. Yeah, personally, we can talk about her.
Of course, yeah.
Like
Talk to me about them.
we all, I think, for all of us, with me, Rhea, and her, we went through some workshop period, I think, which kind of we had to open up to each other. We had no choice but to open up to each other, because when we got into it, I remember there was a lot of kind of holding back from all of us, which wasn't really working for the scenes, and we realized it early on. And so we met, even if we were not really rehearsing, we would meet on a daily basis and kind of just get to know each other better and get to know each other's weaknesses and strengths. And so when that opening up sort of happened, the friendliness obviously also came into play. But that also made the acting part a more exchange process than, I'm doing my thing and she's doing her thing. So I think it was and full credit to Bhatt Sahab and Pushpadeep for creating that environment, because they, as the captains of the ship, they kind of created that space for us to pour out our weaknesses all into one place and then go from there.
So tell me about your director. I mean, I tried to go online to try and look at some other stuff he's done. He's done a few short films and things like that. But what kind of guy is he, and
So
what has he done?
Pushpadeep Bharadwaj is our director. He's someone who's he's written the film. He's a writer and director on the film. He's done a lot of theatre. So he's done about like 90 to 100 nukkars that he's directed and acted in, and he's like got this theatre frenzy and this theatre group that he has, and he's been part of for many years. And he's a very passionate actor himself. So he's a writer, director, and he's an actor. And that really helped us as actors, because when there's another actor viewing you, they can help you with points that a director, just a plain director, may not. For example, there was this one shot, and in which he came and said to me, "जब आप मुंह से सांस लेते हो ना तो नाक नहीं हिलती है." And I was like, oh my god, he caught that minute detail, because sometimes you fake it, like you don't realize it, and you might be faking something because maybe you fake it in life too. And he caught on to that, and he really helped me through the workshops and the rehearsals, and he really helped me with all the tools and skills that I needed as an actor. I think him combined with Mahesh Bhatt's feisty, fiery, magical energy that would just drive me to the other extreme of emotions was just the best combination any actor can ask for.
But some of these theatre guys they fall back into this trap and this habit of actually acting it out and telling you.
Yeah.
I hope that didn't happen.
No, so honestly, there were times when he would show us what he thinks it is, but he would always say that, like, listen, this
Do
is
your own
me
thing.
doing it, and to me, he'd be like, I'm a guy. You can never, it's always going to be two different things. He's like, but I just want to show you 1 second of it, because I want to show you how high I want you to go. And he would leave it at that, so I would just be like, oh, that's how high the emotion is. So just for the emotional pitch, maybe once or twice he did that, but not overall. Overall, his briefs were actually really different his briefs were a lot to do with breath, which I found really interesting. Like, his understanding about breath and emotion is beautiful. So it was like an acting workshop for me.
Wow, meditation, acting, breath control.
Therapy also.
Yeah, it's fascinating.
And Mahesh Bhatt giving you life therapy and life lessons. Too good.
You, my friend, are very well travelled. I went up to Shillong and I said, man, I have to do more of the Northeast. I never got beyond Shillong. And you've travelled to the far reaches of the Northeast.
Yeah. We spent almost 3 months in the Northeast fully.
And it's just remarkable, isn't it?
It's amazing. It's untouched. It's unexplored.
Look at the kind of music they listen to, all the rock and roll and this and that.
Yeah. What and wonderful people, great food, and it's scenic as like never seen before. Like,
Does it hurt you when you go there and you see that large parts of the Northeast are not supported by the powers that be? Because if you look at the kind of development or the haphazard development that is there in our large urban metros, and you see that the Northeast is not getting that amount of funding, does it worry you?
I think I think it's a double-edged sword, because what happens is that the people over there also want, the funding and all to happen and the development to happen over there, but they're also scared of it. And I'm talking like their voices right now.
Sure.
They're scared of it because they're like, we don't want it to get flooded. The reason it is so pure and it is the way it is because it's like the roads are still not like fully there, so there's so many people are not coming to
You're not cutting forests to make more multi-story
exactly.
buildings.
It's just
Wow.
so it's pure. Like, so a lot of them, like, we asked this question when we were there as well, and there were some people who were not happy about the situation. But having said that, I've been to the Northeast once in 2013, and then I went again 3 years later. So the roads have become better. Infrastructure is improving. Yes, it's going at a slow pace, but it is improving. And I think a lot of stuff is also happening over there, which is helping all this.
What would be your favorite place? The one place that you went to and said, wow, breathtaking.
Tawang.
It's on the border, isn't it? India-China border.
Yes,
Yeah?
yes. Actually, more beautiful than that was Sela Pass, which is, I think, the third or fourth highest motorable pass in our country. It was just, I think the experience I had over there was, we reached there and we didn't know that it was going to be that cold, and there's a lake over there, it was frozen. And there was this old auntie who gave us like hot rum and water, and we had some noodles, and that was just that. I think that is the high point of my travel show life.
And as you would know, Fauji girl, when you get old monks, everything is all right.
Everything's gonna be alright.
So why Jalebi? Her name's Jalebi. He calls her Jalebi.
Yeah.
He
Mum of
calls,
India,
yeah. Dave calls Aisha Jalebi with love, but also I feel like the latter interpretation is that because the jalebi is a bit twisted and complicated, yet so sweet, that's the kind of flavor of love, isn't it?
That's Yuria.
Yeah, everyone seems to think that. With this whole jalebi thing, of course, I've been associated with sweet, but I'm also getting like, hey, are you complicated? Now you're twisted as a jalebi. I was like, you bet.
So she writes. I mean, just a little more about the character. Does she lose her cool? Is she more impulsive? Is he the more calm one? How is her personality in this relationship?
Yeah, I think she's exactly like me in the relationship. She's the impulsive one who doesn't listen to any voice of reason, which is exactly like me, which is why. So we had this fight scene where basically Varun was just playing himself. He's the calm one who gets it and who tries to, say things out like that. And I'm the one who's like, no, bro. No is no. My way or the highway. But I also think that because that character is younger, I'm 21 at that point in the film. 20 when we get married, 21. And so at 21 you are not reasonable, man. I'm still not. And why should I be? And why should anyone be?
Correct. Why should you?
Yeah.
Okay, let's do some last few questions before we wrap. So Durga Puja is around the corner. How do the Chakrabortys celebrate Durga Puja?
The Chakrabortys usually go to Kolkata and celebrate it with Dadu, but this time I won't be able to go, but I'll celebrate it at home. I'll eat some great food, and my film will be releasing, so it'll be like a festive time and this and that. But usually Kolkata would be the...
So you all go pandal hopping in Cal?
We go to one or two in Lake Place only, near my Dadu's house. We go nearby, we have 1-2 fixed ones. But if we're in Bombay also, we definitely go to 1 or 2 pandals. Like my dad's very serious about that. Plus the whole new clothes and all. Like relatives in Calcutta will send us money to buy new clothes. And we have to wear new clothes and then go to the pandal. So I really look forward to that. And contrary to all this money we make in the industry or not make, when that 5,000 rupees, those 2,000 rupees come in an envelope, that's the most exciting money of the whole year.
And where do you go here? Do you go to Abhijit's in Lokanwala, or do you go to Four Bungalows? Do you go to Rani Mukherjee's? They're all great pandals.
I do go to Rani Ma'am's, and sometimes I've gone to Abhijit's also once or twice. But depending on my dad is reviving that year, so he's the head of the family, especially on that day.
My Cal radio station listeners are already loving this.
I wish I could go there.
Of course you'll go. Maybe not this season, but like you said, you go every year.
Yeah.
So and Bhog is a big thing.
Bhog is the best thing.
Yeah, the best thing. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
What would be your favorite food during Pujo?
I mean, my mom prefers that we eat vegetarian food. But if given a choice to me, I would just love some khichdi with some mangshur jhal. It'd just be the best thing ever. With that, Yeah, you cannot eat Bengali food that's vegetarian. We don't consider veg food Bengali. Yeah, and I have relatives in Kolkata who don't believe fish is non-veg. So if you ask them, they're saying no, we are vegetarian. I said, but I'm like, Pishima, you eat fish. She's like, it is fish. It is vegetarian. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, but then bomb Brahmins eat fish, but they don't eat other meats, so that
Yeah.
also happens. Yeah.
So
Diwali, brother, plans?
Diwali. When is Diwali?
Around the corner, brother.
It changes every year.
Around the corner. Mm.
9th of October.
So what happens? What happens normally in the family?
9th of November.
Like she gave me an elaborate thing of how they celebrate.
So if I'm in Delhi, which I usually am for Diwali, there's a small puja in the house. My granddad used to live with us. So he used to make sure that we are part of the puja, and in the beginning I used to always crib about sitting there and chokri marke and this and that, but I think that became kind of practice in our family, and we do a puja at home, then there's usually a family dinner, and then everybody goes out to
Cards also?
I don't play cards. That bores the hell out of me.
Okay, we're celebrating Virat Kohli's birthday. That's around the corner. So what do you think of Virat as a sportsman or as a person? Just your thoughts. Each one
What a
of you.
guy. I mean, I think there should be a movie made on him soon. Hats off to him, man. The amount he's achieved at such a young age. I mean, the captain of our team. And what I love about him is that he's consistent. I think that's the best thing about him, and also doesn't get affected that way. He doesn't show that getting affected by people who talk when he doesn't perform well and stuff. So he's like a solid guy.
Rhea, your thoughts on Virat?
I would like to wish him happy birthday, Virat. I think all of India is a huge fan of you. Girls are crushing like crazy, crazier than before. Now that you're married, people are going even crazier. You're killing it with cricket. I think he's killing it with life in general. So keep the good work up, man.
Thank you guys. Best of luck for Jalebi.
Thank you.
Thank you
Much,
so
much
much.
love.
It's lovely
Thank you.
talking to
Thank
you.
you.